Hey everyone, welcome back to GIS Gallery. In this video, I'll be showing you how to work with raster images in ArcGIS Pro, including compositing bands, mosaicing rasters, and clipping images for better analysis. If you're new here, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading more tutorials on ArcGIS Pro, as well as a complete series on Python for GIS and GIS programming, so stay tuned. Now, let's dive into raster processing in ArcGIS Pro.
To select your data, what you can do is first select the first tile, right? And then press shift on your keyboard and select the last tile. So it will select all the data in between. Okay. And you can click OK. And this data will be added over here. So you have different tiles here from band 1 to band 7. So first I will be layer stacking, right? So we will be layer stacking this particular image to form a composite band. For that, we will go to our tools, to your processing, and you can search for composite bands tool. Click on composite bands, and then it will ask for the input raster. So you just select this data in order, right? Same thing, select the first data, press shift, select the last one, and just drag and drop it over here. Okay, so you have the data that is from band 1 to band 7 over here, that is in order. Okay, you have to make sure these are in order because that is how. So yesterday we saw the band compositing, right? So it will show band 1, band 2, band 3. It won't be showing this B1, B2. Okay, I'll just show you. So after that is make sure those are in order. Click on run here, and it will be creating a new composite band image, right? And now if you see here, right? So when you're clicking the band combination, it will show only the band 1, band 2, band 3, right? But it doesn't mean the same order as downloaded by you, okay? This order will be based on the order that you give in here, okay? So if you give band 1 to band 7, the same order will be over here, okay? But if you made any mistake and you gave the band 2 first, then it will show just band 1 over here. Where's the symbol? Yeah, it will show band 1 name over here, but in actually the band 1 will be containing your band 2. Okay, so make sure it's in order, same order as that is in your data. Okay, so it will be easier for you. And if it's in different order, then the band combination, right? So the RGB combination was 432. That same order will not be working because your band 1 and band 2 and band 3 will be having different kinds of band symbology. So just make sure when you're compositing the bands, it's in the same order, right? So 1 to 7, it's the same. Okay. So I have already composited the first tile. So I'll just remove all the tile that makes up or all the bands that makes up that tile. Okay. And then I'll just go over and then add the next set of tiles. Okay, so I have the next set of tiles in here from band 1 to 7. I'll just do the same for that one also. Okay, so what I'll do is press control and so that it's dropped down, right? And then do the same thing in here. So band 1, shift, band 7, it's all selected, and then drag and drop. Make sure it's in order. Then you can just click on run. So it will be creating the same kind of composite imagery for this type. Okay, so this is called compositing or layer stacking. So you're combining all the individual bands to create a single composite image type. Okay, so we are combining each separate bands to single bands, right? So after that is done, we will be having two different kinds of tiles here. One covering this area, one covering this area, right? So what we can do next is we will be doing mosaicing operation. So what mosaicing operation means is it will be stitched together these two tiles to form a single tile. Okay. So we have this tile covering all this area. Yeah, this one. Okay, that is done. So based on the quality of the image, these two have the two different kinds of qualities. Mostly this one was taken in better climate condition and this one is much more darker. Anyway, so what we'll do is we'll just combine these two or we'll just stitch these two tiles together to form a single tile. Okay, that is called mosaicing operation. So what mosaicing does is it will just place these tiles together to form a single tile. Before that, I'll just remove all the unwanted layers here. So that's run. So we have these two composite imagery. Okay. So I'll be mosaicing these two next. So to do mosaicing, we'll go to the geoprocessing tools and then you can search for mosaic to new raster. Okay. So you have an option here for mosaic to new raster. So what does it do? It merges multiple raster dataset into a new raster dataset. Okay. So this is the tool that we're going to be using today. So we'll just click on Mosaic new raster and it's asking for the input rasters. So I'll be setting these input rasters, right, to Mosaic them. Okay. And then what it needs next is it needs an output location. Okay. It's asking for output location. So I just browse over. Okay. I just click on browse and then I'll be choosing a folder. Okay. You have to choose a folder to save the data. So I'll just go to Raster out. Okay. So this is the folder that I'm going to select. So the folder is selected. I'm clicking OK, and that is set here. Okay. And what is this? It's asking for next is it needs a raster dataset name with extension. So it needs a name with the extension format. So what I'll do is I can give a name of something like mosaic, and then its next extension can be .tif. Okay. So I'll give the name mosaic.tif for this data, this mosaic new raster. And then it's asking for spatial reference for raster, but then it's not actually needed because mosaic.tif already exists. Okay. Mosaic1.tif. Okay. And then spatial reference is it will actually take from our data or you can just specify the data, right? So the spatial reference, I can use the same thing as in my input imagery. And then it's asking for the pixel type. Okay, so the pixel type should be the same as our input data. Okay, so we can check what is the pixel type of our input data. So we have the image here, right? The input image, the mosaic image. You can just right click on it, go to properties, and in the source under raster information, if we see over here, we can see that the number of bands is 7, right? So it has 7 bands in this composite image. And we have cell size X and cell size Y. So what does this 30 mean? What is the cell size X and cell size Y? Do you have any idea what this is? The cell size X and cell size Y? Any guesses?
The pixel size?
Yeah, it's the pixel size, right? So what resolution was that? Spatial resolution, right? Yesterday we saw spatial resolution. So this in this satellite imagery, the spatial resolution or its pixel size is 30 meter, right? So it means it has a 30-meter resolution. So the size xy of each pixels in this image is 30 meter. Okay. And then if you come down, we can see that the pixel type is unsigned short. Okay, unsigned short, and pixel depth is 16 bit. Okay, we saw the 16 bit, right? We saw that radiometric resolution. So which means in this imagery, each pixels can have values from 2 raised to 16. So 0 to 2 raised to 16 values these pixels can have. So its pixel type is unsigned short and pixel depth is 16 bit. That's the information that we need. So in the pixel type, we'll select 16-bit unsigned, right? 16-bit unsigned. So we have to see, if it was float, we'll have to select the float option. So since it's 16-bit unsigned integer, we can select 16-bit unsigned here, okay? And then it's asking for number of bands. So we saw there, and we also know the composite image has 7 bands here, okay? And then it can actually also ask for what is the color map mode. So we want the color map of the first image, and then the mosaic operator we can use the last as the last image or the first image or whatever. Okay. So the first image is composite band one, right? We can set it as last composite band one. Anyway, mosaic operator is done. So you just click on run, and then here also it might take some time. So in my case, I only have two bands, composite bands, right? I only have two composite bands, and each composite band only has 7 bands. So in total, I only have 14 bands to process here. But in your guys' case, you'll be doing for the whole of Kerala. Okay. So when you're doing the whole of Kerala, you'll have almost 5 or 6 composite tiles will be there, and each tiles will be 7 bands. So if it's like 5 bands, you will have 5 into 7 almost 35 bands images to process. And if it's like more tiles, you will need more time. So this tool might take some time to run. Okay. So it will do this complete statistics and histogram for each of the bands. So if you have 7 bands or if you have 7 tiles, this thing will be running 7 times. Okay. So we'll just wait for this one to run. Close this. Okay. So it has actually created a single band imagery or not a single band imagery. It has actually created a single type, right? It has combined those two data and created a single type here. So I can set the 432 combination here. 432, yeah. So it has combined these two data and formed a single type. So a single file, right? So mosaic stitched together these two data and formed a single type. So this operation is called mosaicing. Okay. So after mosaicing is done, what next I can do is if I only want the data for this Trivandrum district, right? So what I'll do is I'll just add my Trivandrum district boundary. So add data, and I have Lancet here. So then data considering definition of raster. Yeah, I have the three-dimensional file. So I have so I have my save file, or I have a feature vector file for my TVM district. Okay. So in here, I only want the data for my TVM region. Okay. So what I can do is I can extract this image, right? And only for the place that is inside this boundary. or inside the shapefile. So what tool I can do here is I have an option to clip the data, right? So I'll be clipping this satellite or this raster image using the boundary of this vector file or this shapefile. So using this vector file shapefile boundary, I'll be clipping my raster data so that I only need the raster image for this study area. Okay. So the tool that we can we can use to do this is called clip. Okay. So if you see search for clip, there is an option here called clip raster. Okay. So what does it do? It cuts out a portion of raster data as a layer. Okay. So click on clip raster. In here, you'll need to add the first option it's asking for is input raster. So my input raster is the image that was mosaic, right? The mosaic data. So only by mosaicing I will have a layer type or a raster imagery for this area, right? Because this tile came over this side came in this tile and this side came with this tile. So if I join them only, I can have a better clipping operation here. So that's why I mosaic these two data, right? So I'll get a single tile. So I'll just input the single tile here, and then it is asking for output extent. So here is where we'll be setting our boundary. Okay, so I'll just drop down here and I'll set the TVM shapefile boundary. Okay, so I said after setting this, I'll need to take these two options. So I need to use input features for the clipping geometry and then enable the maintain clipping extent. Okay, so after that is done, maybe I can set the output location. So if I want somewhere specific my output data or the clip data to be saved, I can just browse it and then choose the location. Okay. For now, I'll be setting the default location here with the default name. Okay. So after giving the input raster, that is the input image that you will be cutting, and then output extent, that is the boundary using which we will be doing the clipping operation, and enabling the clipping geometry and then clipping extent, we can just click on run here. It's fairly much faster process here. It's complete. Okay. So I'll just turn off all the other layers, right? So this is how I get a clipped image, right? So 3 and 2, right? So this is how I can actually clip my whole raster data only for my study area or inside this boundary area, right? So we did compositing, like we did the composite bands to create a layer stacked image, and we mosaic to composite bands to create a single mosaic image tile, and using this mosaic image tile, we clip the data so that we only need the imagery for a specific region, study area, or whatever that area that fits inside my boundary. Okay, and okay, so also if you select your imagery, if you go to raster layer, you have an option here to actually change the values here. Okay, so you can actually change the brightness values of your image. Okay, you can say change the contrasting values. So if you want, if your image is like looking really dull or darker, you can maybe just slightly change the brightness value. Yeah.